Congratulations! You've unlocked episode 3 of All Apologies, the podcast about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy. Before I introduce my co-host, I've prepared the following remarks. Now, I just have to get out in front of this. Today we're talking about the Michael Richards apology on Letterman. And for me to talk about that, I need to talk about Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill is a rap group that came out in about, 1991. And they were from LA and they were into robbing people and smoking weed. And if you partied in the 90s, then you thought Cypress Hill was great. And if you were like me, you thought they were so great that you bought all their albums and listened to all their songs, so much so that you learned all the words to all the songs. Now, what you need to know about Be Real of Cypress Hill is he is a Cuban Puerto Rican all up in this place, and he's not a black man. But he uses the N-word liberally all over every single song. Okay, now just because Sindog signed off on Be Real, that gives him the pass to use the N-word whenever he wants. So, that being said...
I think Sindog said car blanche.
Yeah. So, but that being said, I as a stupid young 20-year-old burnout that liked Cypress Hill and thought that Be Real was a white guy using the N-word all the time, you start to think that it's okay to use the N-word all the time. And I will issue my apology now. I may or may not have sung along to the song Worldwide in the shower once. That's happened, okay? But on the same side of the coin...
I sang along to the song My Dingling in the shower.
Okay, yeah. At any rate, so I apologize to Cypress Hill, but Cypress Hill, Be Real needs to apologize to me. Because
our first demanding of an apology?
Yeah, I'm going to start demanding apologies too, because Cypress Hill, Be Real started another band called Kush that sucks ass, and I demand an apology for this song called Unstable. Wow, what a hook. All right.
Unstable. More like unlistenable. Am I right?
You are right. Fuck that song. Fucking Be Real. Come on. All right.
Be Real, we demand an apology. We'll take it in weed.
You're not black. All right. So, now, I'm sorry, Be Real. Let me take this time to introduce my co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe!
Hey!
Do you have something you'd like to say to me?
I would like to apologize for hip-checking you into our toy chest when we were, I think, 8 years old.
Yeah, I think we were even older, but yeah, I do deserve an apology for that.
The fights get more brutal. We never fought.
No.
Physically.
Maybe once or twice. Nothing.
Not physically. Never through. We'll cut this out.
But I definitely fell and smashed my temple on the corner of a wooden chest.
Yep.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I accept your apology.
Thank you.
Okay. So, moving on. We have a lot to talk about. Because this is when we conceived this podcast, this was one of the first things that occurred to me. And
this is legendary.
Yeah, but anybody that doesn't know, the actor Michael Richards, who played Kramer on Seinfeld, dabbled in stand-up comedy when once the show was over. He's like, "What am I going to do with myself?
Know what to do.
I'll take it to the stage." And there's an incident record there. If you want to go find it, we're not going to play the whole video because it's very racist and in poor taste. He was getting heckled at the Laugh Factory and decided to start screaming that the people that were heckling him were N-words, and it's insane. I have a little bit of it, but I'm not going to play the whole meltdown. So the fallout of that is that he's canceled from humanity at this point. You don't hear anything from him anymore. And, right after that, he tried to walk it all back. He called in all his favors from Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld is making an appearance on David Letterman, and Jerry Seinfeld makes Letterman give Michael Richards a platform to apologize for
It was actually a very nice thing for Jerry Seinfeld to do, because nobody wanted anything to do with it.
Right, yeah, because, Jerry's trying to, give him some grace.
He's adjacent, right, and he's also adjacent. Jerry Seinfeld's also now I got to answer questions about this for the rest of my life.
Right. You answer your own questions here. So what we've got here is the package of Michael Richards' appearance on David Letterman. This is Dave introducing Michael Richards onto the show.
Richards. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hi, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hi.
How you doing?
I'm not doing too good.
Yeah. Dave's like, no shit. You don't say.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't see this, but he came bursting into Jerry's apartment, right? He's like, low energy Kramer. It's like, I'm such a sad Kramer. Have you ever seen Kramer sad on Seinfeld?
Yeah. He has his head hung and he's backing into the room ass first.
Yeah. That episode where they changed out his shower head and it was the low flow shower head. That was the saddest Kramer that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay. So in clip 2 here, this is going to be the explanation of, because Dave's like, some people may not know that you're a crazy racist. Do you care to explain what happened?
Why don't you explain exactly what happened for the folks who may not know?
I lost my temper on stage. I was at a comedy club trying to do my act, and I got heckled, and I took it badly and went into a rage, and said some pretty nasty things to some Afro-Americans, a lot of trash talk, and
Stop laughing. It's not funny.
Stop laughing. Oh, silly me. I bought tickets to the Letterman show and thought I was going to come here and have a few chuckles.
I thought that guy on TV was going to be on here and make me laugh for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, Jerry Seinfeld's going to be on? This is going to be a Barrel Monkeys.
Yeah.
Stop this whole episode was worth it just for this clip.
Stop laughing. It's not funny.
That's not going anywhere. That's living on this board now. But so all of a sudden things are going to get real serious on the Letterman show. And, Michael Richards wants to issue a heartfelt apology here.
And did you...
I know, I'm hearing your audience laugh, and it's I'm not even sure that this is where I should be addressing the situation. I've already heard you make some jokes about it, and that's okay, but I'm really busted up over this, and I'm very, very sorry to those people in the audience. The blacks, the Hispanics, the whites, everyone that was there that took the brunt of that anger and hate and rage and how it came through, and I'm concerned about more hate and more rage and more anger coming through, not just towards me, but towards a black-white conflict. There's a great...
Yeah, I just want to pause it real quick because he starts trying to make it a bigger issue.
I was going to say he thinks he's going to start the race war.
Right, yeah.
He's going to kick off the race war.
Yeah, but he's trying to make it more about him losing his temper on stage and being a complete asshole and letting his problem with race issues bleed out. And now it's like, whoa, I don't. Maybe it's a cultural thing that I'm such a piece of shit.
Deal of disturbance in this country and how blacks feel about what happened in Katrina, and many of the comics many performers are.
Oh, it's Katrina's fault now.
Yeah.
It's not just a cultural thing. It's a natural disaster thing.
Yeah.
That bitch Katrina
at the
it was-
time, right? I mean, this was probably right after Kanye said that George W. Bush didn't care about black people on TV.
No, you're definitely right about
Yeah.
that.
Las Vegas and New Orleans trying to raise money for what happened there. And for this to happen, for me to be in a comedy club and flip out and say this crap, you know, I'm deeply, deeply sorry.
All the people in New Orleans are underwater. Don't we have better things to worry about
no shit.
than my comedy show? Right. Stanley Spadowski said some naughty words on stage.
You know, drink from the racist fire hose.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Okay, so he tries to blame He tries to blame the race war. He tries to blame Hurricane Katrina, but really, he was just he was improvising on stage. He was being spontaneous, and it got away from him.
About had the people doing the heckling or the people who were not paying attention, had they been white or Caucasian or any other race, what would have been the nature of your response then?
It may have happened. You know, I'm a performer. I push the envelope. I work in a very uncontrolled manner on stage. I do a lot of free association and spontaneous. I go into character. I don't know. In view of the situation and the act going where it was going, I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Sometimes I'm racist towards African American people. Sometimes I'm bigoted towards homosexuals.
Yeah.
You never know where it's going to go.
I'm so off the cuff. I might even call a white guy the N-word. It's my closer, in fact. Who knows what's going to happen at a Michael Richards comedy show? But he wants you to know that just because he yelled the N-word, maybe I didn't count him. It's at least 6 times.
Yeah.
At least.
I don't remember. I just remember it was literally like a manic episode of like screaming. If you've never heard it, obviously, I don't know.
You can find it on YouTube.
It's not. Yeah, you can find it. I don't even recommend going to find it. It's not funny.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wondering how bad it was, go find it, and it's not funny. What it definitely wasn't was like a mistake, where he's just like, oh, I didn't really mean to say that. It's just kind of like one kind of slipped out. No, he's screaming it over and over again.
Right. He wasn't like singing along the lyrics or one of these other marginal. Like,
but this is back in the
marginal. But
at the time. There were guys that were sort of like the nature of language. You could say something this way, and it could be taken this way. And if I say this and that, like Louis C.K. famously has a thing where he calls like a deer like the N-word and a cunt. He's just like, if I call a woman a cunt, it's the end of the world. But if I call a deer a cunt, it's not a thing. And then he calls a deer like an N-word and a cunt. You're just like, oh, he's just using the N-word in a way that doesn't affect me personally.
Right.
You know. So there was people that were getting away with it at the time. Yeah. And I think that he thought, because he was Kramer, that he was Teflon Kramer and could just yell the N-word and everybody would be like, oh, that's silly Kramer.
This is what, I mean, I can't remember the year or whatever, but it's pre-social media or like, I don't think even Twitter was around. I think Facebook might have been like or maybe even like MySpace would have been like the only type of social. So like this.
You're saying Michael Richards didn't even know that social media was a thing at the time.
Well, yeah, but not even like, I guess what I'm saying is this was so radically insane that it didn't, like, we didn't even need social media for Michael Richards to get canceled.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now like social media is required for you to get canceled.
You're right.
At this time,
it's
it was
the
like
easiest way to get canceled.
So public, and like it must have dragged on for people to pull out their Razr flip phone or whatever they had at the time and take low grade video of this that ended up out. Mm-hmm. Like the technology wasn't the same as what people might
right, because this clip on YouTube it's a TMZ video. This is like when TMZ had their own show.
That was social media,
right? Yeah, that was social. That was YouTube before YouTube, and now TMZ videos are on YouTube. But because they're like bleeping, he's saying like he's calling them motherfuckers too, and they're bleeping that. but they're not bleeping the N-word. But anyway, I digress. Back to the clips. Now, Michael Richards wants everybody to know that just because he's screaming the N-word over and over on stage for your entertainment, that doesn't mean he's a racist.
I'm not a racist. That's what's so insane about this.
Are you sure about that? We kind of think you are.
Well,
You keep telling everybody about all the N-words in your comedy show.
well, this is a cautionary tale for me because I go like 0 to 100 a lot of the time, right? Like, I'll immediately like leap to telling somebody to fuck their mother over like, hey, I didn't like that, like. So he just like went way over. Like, I believe that he was just trying to hurt these people.
Yeah. But as a comedian on stage, you should be like outsmarting the stupid people in the audience. That's how you shut them up.
Yeah.
You shut them down.
Yeah.
You don't scream at them like a lunatic, like you're like you're in a road rage.
Right. Yeah. No. Yes. He like lost his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, because what is lost on that is like what was happening in the audience.
Sure,
Like, we don't get that piece.
That story's not told, like exactly how.
What did they
annoying
do? What was she wearing?
But at any rate, it's just not the way you handle it. Especially when you see, it goes back to the Johnny Depp argument where he thinks he's too famous, that these people are disrespecting him, and how dare they?
Yeah.
And then he just like loses his mind and thinks that he can get away with it. So just because you're famous and rich doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want. And this is a perfect example of it.
Yeah.
This guy is fucking Nowheresville now.
Right.
So at this point in the interview or the apology, he is going to say that what I was saying about how Louis C.K. he'll drill down on the nuance of the language. So he tried to, even after he said it, like at one point, like the audience just starts turning on him, right? So he tries to start backpedaling it like right then. And he kind of like is explaining that to Dave in this.
Somehow, by being outrageous and completely inappropriate, that it might somehow make the situation diffuse it a bit or make it seem lighter than it was?
I tried to do that. You don't have the whole thing there with what they're showing everyone. I tried to jujitsu that, try to move. You do that. I got a microphone. I'm trying, but it didn't work out. It was you talk about a bad night,
I tried to do jitsu, like a show enough last dragon hip toss, but it just turned into a Mickey Rooney breakfast at Tiffany's.
Be so sorry. Oh, so.
Jiu-jitsu it.
Yeah, I tried to. I was making it a black thing, so I tried to make it an Asian thing by calling it jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right.
And then I tried to make it a Jewish thing.
Yeah. Yeah, at least he has a leg to stand on. If you tried to make it a Jewish thing, what? You're ruining my comedy acts just because I'm a Jew? Yeah. But all right, so here I'm going to play a couple. This is Michael Richards trying to jiu-jitsu his way out of screaming the N-word.
All right, you see? It shocks you. It shocks you to see what's buried beneath your stupid motherfuckers.
Ooh, I'm shocking you. It's so shocking that maybe you'll stop ruining my comedy show.
You see how I tried to get out of this heckling by using racist comments?
Yeah.
You people are manipulated, you sheep.
Right. And then, like, right at the end, this is the last thing he says before, like, he's walking the room. People are just, like, getting up and walking out, yelling, that was uncalled for, and just walking out on the show. And then he tries...
As any rational person would.
He tries, like, one last jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you see, there's still those words.
He's getting screamed down, but he's saying, so you see there's still those words. those words. That's what he says. Those words that will get an audience to turn on you and walk out of your show.
See, that's the we're going to do the Kimberly and Beck.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the same thing. That's what she did.
Pretty
basically.
much.
Yeah.
But so it didn't work. They shut down. He just walks off the stage and like in shame. And then Dave's like, well, did you try and like apologize to the people like after you got off stage? Did you maybe go up to the people that you were screaming at and try and apologize? Well, he didn't do that. But what he did was try and go back to the second show and get on stage.
Oh, are you fucking kidding?
Did you talk to the people and apologize to them?
I went out there. I tried. I went out there, and I did talk to some people. I even went back to the club that night to get back on the stage and to work, to get back on the horse, as they say. And I did. I apologized to quite a few people, but I didn't talk to all of everyone. They left, and I don't know how to get in touch with those people. And then, of course, they've gone to press, as I think they should.
I went back and I, bumped some black guy out of his spot.
Yeah. I said, don't you know who I am? Kramer's bumping Godfrey over here. And the black bouncer was like, didn't you just get booed off stage for screaming the N-word? And Michael Richards is like, I got to get back on the horse, as long as it's a white horse.
Yeah. Haven't you been ridden out of town? What the fuck?
All right.
That's fucking incredible.
Yeah, he's a lunatic.
I've forgotten, I don't forget the fucking actual clip of it. It is like a bell in your head, like if you've ever heard it, the cadence and like it's really weird because you're watching somebody like throw it all away and like completely lose it.
It's a meltdown.
It's a meltdown. It's the reason why actors shouldn't be comedians. Like comedians can transition into acting. It's so much harder for an actor to transition into comedy.
Yeah, comedians have a comfort level on stage where they're ready to.
They've written it.
They're ready.
Memorized
they're ready to either ignore what's happening in the room or address what's happening in the room, or they have some kind of game plan for the audience being more involved than they want them to be. Any pro comedian, you'll see it. They either ignore it, or they have canned jokes ready to go, or they're great off the cuff. And these actors, they just don't they're just like, oh, this wasn't in the script.
They've been reading a script for years, right?
You talking through my set wasn't in the script,
right?
So now I'm like having a meltdown.
Yeah, because you don't know how to handle it. All these people who like cry that you're interrupting my work. That's just an excuse for you to not really know how to handle that situation, because that's part of being a professional. You need to have that shit cocked and loaded,
right?
And in a way that is going to work, because that's the most jokes can succeed and fail on stage, but when you're being heckled, like you need to have that shit ready to go.
Yeah.
For any situation, because you need to be in charge and you need to maintain that control. You need to be the guy with the microphone, and no matter what happens, you're fucking it's your work.
Right.
You paid to see me. That's what it boils down to.
Correct.
Every time.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say thanks for your money. Do you want a refund? They say yes. You go, well, you're not getting it. Yeah. Get out of here. Right. You're ejected.
Good point. And to your point, the people who were there to see, who they paid to see, was Jerry Seinfeld. So Dave is going to toss it back to Jerry to lend a little more sympathy to Michael Richards.
Jerry, is there anything you want to say to Michael here?
I know Michael many years, and I know how he works on stage, and none of that justifies what happened. But I've been talking to him today, and he's someone that I love, and
lose my fucking number, okay? You crusty old racist fuck.
Yeah.
So much for a reunion show, right? There goes that easy money.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. What a dumbass. But don't you become if you do this and you have Kramer Seinfeld money, right? I mean, really, he's set for life. He never has to do anything ever again.
Yeah.
10 times over, probably. don't you just become like an anonymous benefactor for like like you adopt a neighborhood or something and like clean it up and like try and like rectify it with yourself or something like that. Like there's things you can do, and one of them is not, get back in the spotlight and shine a freaking stethoscope right up your fucking ass about what racist dickhead you are.
Yeah.
Go change it in a real meaningful way.
I'm sure that's what he's doing now, because you don't see
you
don't see hide or hair from him anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's over for this guy, and all the apologies in the world couldn't save him.
Yeah, we'll get into that. It's strange because I was watching, we were talking about like getting into like Real Housewives or like reality show apologies and stuff like that, and we were watching the Below Deck, not the most recent season, but the last season, and there was somebody dropped the N-bomb on that, and you really watch like the acceptance and like people trying to apologize and it really not going anywhere, and the black girl like accepts it but doesn't really accept it, and you kind of like get both sides of the story in a way, and then it's just like, because the other part of it is just like the girl that said the N-word looks exactly like the type of girl that would use the N-word is the other part of the problem, like bleach blonde, like not a care in the fucking world, never had to worry about a goddamn thing, and thinks that she can say the N-word around black people. It's just embarrassing. Like the whole thing is fucking embarrassing. But it's more of a modern take. This is like an old man who's like out of touch with reality and thinks that, there's still separate water fountains and he can say the N-word on stage. This is a much more modern thing where it's like, it wasn't like lyrics, but it also wasn't malicious. It wasn't an attack. It was just like, hey, you're a little too comfortable around me. Mm-hmm. And then it just doesn't get let go at all. And it like bubbles over multiple times, and people make multiple. We'll cover it probably at some point, but we'll cut all this out.
Yeah.
But I'm just like kind of telling you about it. But it is just like, well, I thought I apologized for this, and you accepted that apology, so I thought this was done.
Right.
And it's just like, no, and this maybe is kind of like the bow on this, is like, sometimes apologizing it's just not going to do it. Like an apology is just not going to get it done.
Right.
And all you can really kind of do is say, you know what, I did say it and it was not right, and I'm just going to have to move forward, and you're just going to have to like accept the consequences and shit, and just understand that, yeah, I mean, some people, it's just done. You fucked up. I mean, you just fucked up.
Right. And you have to,
Michael Richards just fucked up.
Yeah, you're going to have to take accountability for your actions and make yourself a better person going forward.
Right. And the only way you can do it is to become famous for your benevolent freaking gestures to the community that you may have damaged, Go try and freaking make it better.
That was definitely an apology that was not accepted by anyone.
No.